Well, the truth is out. I intentionally abused my horse. Guys, we need to talk about something. As somebody who wants to put themselves out there on the online world, I am aware and willing and not afraid of the negative comments, and I know that I will get a lot of criticism, and you can't avoid that, especially in the horse world. There's a lot of people that just are negative and will put that on you. But there are also a lot of people that want to help, and they have good criticism. They just don't know how to say it very nicely, which turns people off like me to want to take said advice and think about it and immediately get defensive and shut down. But I am aware of what these people are trying to do. They're trying to better the horse community. They're out for the better of the horse. And I realized that I need to put my ego aside and learn and grow, because I don't want to be somebody who never changes, and I want to be somebody who can take criticism and turn it into something positive. Because I do admire a lot of people on social media. I have a lot of people that I look up to, barrel racers and champions and amazing horse trainers and stuff. And some of the things that I dislike about these people that I look up to is that because they are world champions and professionals and they've been doing it their whole lives, they feel like they're doing it the absolute best way, and any random person on the internet that wants to help or criticize or critique how they do it is an absolute no. They don't know anything about winning, and the way they do it is the only way. But like these people that I look up to, they do things that really irritate me. Like their saddles are clearly not fitted for their horses, and they ride their horses when they're 2 and 3 years old, which is extremely harmful for the horse's growth, and they keep their horses locked up in stalls. That's, not the best life for a horse. But these professionals will never take advice from somebody like me or a random person commenting on them. They will just see it as negative criticism because they have that experience and they think they know best. What I'm saying is that I don't want to be like that. If I'm ever at that level, if I'm ever that good at something, I still want to be able to change and grow and be better as a person and for my horses. I really just aspire to be the best horse person I can be. I want to be able to give my horses the best life. I want to be very knowledgeable on healthcare and saddle fitting and be able to provide my horses as well as possible. And I want to avoid any pain, conflict as possible. So I want to be open to taking advice and not just assume that I'm doing everything the right way. Even though I hope I am realizing that there are maybe things that I am doing that could be harmful to my horse, even though I preach about not being abusive and giving your horse the best natural life possible and whatever. The point is, in my last video, somebody was very triggered by this. Very common, very normal way of saddling up a Western saddle. I am always very aware that the stirrup and the cinch could hit, so the way I try to saddle is to make it so that those things do not bump her. But I'm also lazy and I try to take the easiest way out, so I don't bother putting the stirrup on my saddle and then walking around the horse and taking him down. And I feel like I've figured out a way to be able to do it from the same side that I saddle, so I don't have to walk around my horse. But according to this person who was very triggered by me saddling up my horse, from her professional experience, the stirrup flying over the horse can fracture their elbow, and the cinch falling can fracture or damage the knee bone. From my research and from everywhere that I've looked, people do it either way, and you can do it very gently the way I do it, and it seems perfectly fine. I never found anywhere with all my research that that could be harmful to the horse, as in fracturing a bone. It seems very extreme to me. I'm just very curious, and I want to, for myself, for science, I want to experiment a little bit and see just how hard this stirrup is hitting my horse when I'm putting on my saddle. Personally, I don't have that much experience. I just have dealt with the horses that my family has owned for 20 plus years. So for science, I am going to put on my saddle, but I'm going to have somebody come and help me, and I want them to put their hand right where the stirrup will probably hit with their bare hand with their knuckles facing out, so that if the stirrup bumps their hand, I want to know just how much impact there is and how much that actually hurts on the bone of your hand. But in my video last week, the stirrup just bumps her rib. She didn't even touch the bone, but still, apparently that's a no-no. And honestly, I don't know how different it is from kicking a horse or spurring or bumping with your heels or starfishing. I'm just curious. I want to settle this for my own sake. I am going to be going into this completely open-mindedly. I am willing to change the way that I'm doing things because I want to learn and I want to grow, because I'm on a journey. I want to better myself. I want to know that I'm doing the absolute best for my horse. I don't want to be harming my horse in any way possible. At the end of this video, if I realize that the stirrup coming down on hitting the horse is actually very painful, then I won't do this anymore. I won't saddle my horse this way anymore. I will take the extra few steps to walk around my horse. This really depends on your tack, I feel like. It really depends on how you do it. There's many different methods of throwing your saddle over. And so I think that's why I was a little bit defensive of this comment, because it's kind of a general thing. And I don't think that every person that does this is injuring their horse. But that's why we're here, for science. I'm gonna go and find somebody to help me tack up my horse so that I can do a science experiment and figure out if this is actually painful to my horse or not. Let's do it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put her saddle on, but what I want you to do is I want you to have your hand like right here. Actually, I want your knuckles. So you put your hand like right here where your knuckles are out. So, because I want to see if when I throw the saddle over and when the stirrup comes down, I wanna see how hard it hits her and if it hurts. Got it? I will try to put it on like I always do. Just normal, casual. Ready? Did it hit you? Did it hurt?
No. It hurt a little bit.
Where did it hit you? But like what part of was you or your hand on her? And what part of the saddle hit you?
What?
Just this part? This part of the saddle didn't hurt?
No.
Didn't hit Stella at all?
No.
Okay, well, I'll try it again, but with the saddle pad on already. You might want your hand a little bit lower so that the stirrup hits your hand.
Stirrup doesn't hit, it doesn't even touch her.
Okay. You want to do it so I can feel it?
Me?
Uh-huh. Your stirrup didn't get over. You have to swing it more. There. There. I mean, that hurt a little bit, but that didn't hit where her elbow is. I'm going to push this over and tell me if it hits her at all.
It like hit her knee a little bit.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
Bumps her knee.
Kind of like hits her like a little bit, but like.
Did you want to go do it? That time it just hit her lower leg. But her leg is also sticking back further. If I can make her foot go further more. Go hard. Good. Now try it. I didn't even hit her. Okay, thank you. So the census is that, at least in my case, with my horse and my tack, this doesn't really apply because Stella is short enough that when the stirrup comes down, it's bumping her in her chest, in her rib cage. And it can easily be avoided from bumping the shoulder by just putting your saddle on a little bit further back and then pulling it up. I don't think, from what we just experimented with and tested, that this bump is going to fracture my horse's elbow. I feel like if you're careful and if you're aware, then you can really avoid this. And I mean, I could just not be so lazy and just walk around and take off my stirrup and my cinch on the other side. I could, but when there's no difference to be made, well, I don't have to. just because some person on the internet with experience, which I do not disregard, said that in her experience, a lot of horses had bad experiences with that. I don't know what those kind of owners were or what their kind of tack was, but I'm pretty confident that this does not hurt her. I know she is not at all sensitive in these areas, so there is no fracturing, bruising, pain, no heat, no anything in those areas, so whatever I'm doing is not causing any lasting effects. So I feel pretty good about this, actually, and I did not come out here to prove anybody wrong, but I also felt very strongly that I was not hurting my horse when I was saddling them, and I got a little bit defensive from that comment because when somebody is telling me that I'm hurting my horse when I'm very confident that I'm not, it hurts a little bit, and it might hurt my ego a little bit too. I'm glad that I experimented with this, and I am now aware, and I know to be careful. I was also very confused by this too, because if this motion of this stirrup bumping the horse, which is very light wood with leather on it, so it's not like metal. It might be a different case if you have metal stirrups. When you're just lunging your horse with your tack on them, then your stirrups are bouncing around a lot, and they're bumping them and their elbows and their ribs, and so why is that? Okay. But again, as somebody who puts themselves out there a lot on the internet, I get a lot of comments from very special people. And I do not let these comments bother me, by the way. You don't have to come and try to make me feel better because I get mean comments. But it's hilarious. I think people way overuse the term abuse. They abuse the word abuse. Because I've been called abusive for running away from my horse, for doing a trend that everybody does on TikTok. I've been called abusive for gently pulling on my horse's tail. There's just a lot of things that people like to pick on, and it kind of boggles my mind. Especially on the internet, you have to be really careful when you're trying to give helpful criticism, because there is so many people out there just being negative, and so for the person receiving this criticism, it's very hard to decipher if this is helpful criticism or just a criticism. It is really important how you deliver your helpful criticism, and you make sure that you do it in a very kind way that can be received and not looked at as a harsh judgment. But treating somebody like they're intentionally making a mean mistake and abusing their horse is very harsh and will be received the way I received it, where I felt it was like I was being attacked, and so I come back with my walls up, and I don't want to learn from that person because I felt attacked by them. But it could have been handled differently, because after they replied again, I realized that this person had experience. They weren't just some random person leaving mean comments like there are so many. I realized that maybe their opinion is somewhat valid, and I could see where that might be the case. And if they had just started their comment with, see, I've been studying horse training for a long time, and I want to be the best horse trainer possible. And a lot of horse training rules apply the same as interacting with other human beings or children. And when you are going to critique or try to train a horse or teach a kid, you want to start off with, for one, a compliment. And you want to then try to point out how they might be able to do better and what they're doing might be harmful, and then end with another compliment. So you want to make the person feel good about themselves. You want to show them that you see how they're trying and you're not accusing them of anything, and that they might just be able to do it better this way, but you're also on the right track. That is how you deliver helpful criticism. That is how you, in other words, train horses in a certain way and teach a kid. Because everybody wants to be treated like an equal, and nobody wants to be judged, and nobody wants to feel bad for doing something that they didn't intentionally do. If you are going to give criticism to somebody, because there are a lot of times where I see videos that I just wish I could say something that the person wouldn't receive as negative but also helpful criticism, but I know I can't do that because there are so many negative people giving criticism that people that are posting things on the internet are so shut down. They are not willing to take any advice whatsoever, and I feel that now. Because people don't know how to give helpful criticism. Everything feels like an attack when it's coming from the internet, because everybody, you're just talking to a stranger you'll never meet, you'll never see in real life, you know nothing about them. You just see a small video of what they're doing and you are going to assume the worst of them. And if you're trying to deliver helpful criticism, you do not want to shut the person down and make them feel bad for what they were doing. You just want to lift them up and give them even more room to grow. That's how you deliver criticism. And if everybody did that on the internet, there would be way less fighting and way more growth, and the horse industry and world would be a lot better place. I don't know, it's just food for thought. I don't want to be attacking anybody. I want to be open-minded, and I want to be able to receive criticism. But I also want the criticism to be given to me nicely. I don't want to be humoring anybody by taking criticism that is given to me very negatively. I am not here to be taking everybody's harmful criticism. I'm not going to go and start wearing boots around my horses because I've been told that I'm an idiot for wearing shoes. And, you know, we can all take the helpful criticism and turn it into whatever we want. If we want to take advice, if we want to learn, we want to grow, or if we can just, you know, weigh your options and see if it's worth it, see if it actually fits you, see if it's better for you. You can try it, you can do your research. But I just thought this would be interesting, so that's why I did it, I experimented, and I'm glad I did because now I know. Let me know how you guys thought about this. How do you tack up your horse? Do you let the stirrup drop, or do you walk around and do it the hard way that I'm too lazy to do? I hope you guys found this video interesting. Maybe you learned something from it, maybe you didn't, maybe you were just bored and you left right away, so that's okay. Also, don't forget that I'm doing a giveaway. I'm giving away an item from each one of my Etsy shops and a bridle and breast collar set. There will be 3 winners in my giveaway. It's gonna be super easy to enter, super easy to win. Because there's 3 winners, your odds are very high. All you have to do is be subscribed to this YouTube channel, go follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and comment "done" down below in this comment section or in my previous videos. The giveaway ends February 11th, so go ahead and get your entries in, and I hope you win. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be good. I post new videos every single Sunday, so don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. And you can go follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I post lots of fun stuff over there. So it's fun. You should do it. Don't forget to stay kind. Bye.